Women's Basketball with head coach Jodi Kest. In this week's episode, we recap games against Rochester College and Youngstown State, discuss the scheduling process with Coach Box, and preview the opening of the Mid-American Conference play. All this and more coming your way. Hi everyone, welcome. I'm your host, Chrissy Perbonik. Coach, first off, how are your holidays?
Very good. How about yours?
They were great. Lots of time off, relaxing for me.
For you.
Yes, for me. So since we last met, 2 victories over Rochester College, you guys have and Youngstown State. You guys have advanced to 6-5 for this season. What are your thoughts on your team's recent performance?
Well, I was really happy with the last 2 games, especially the Youngstown State game. Probably wasn't our best performance, but it was really nice to see some of the bench players step up when we got in foul trouble. That was probably Casey's best game that she's ever had offensively. We knew she was capable of scoring, so it was nice to see that, especially when teams, don't guard her. We had great production from Anita Brown, from Dee Gibson, and from Carrie Guyton. So I was really happy with the bench support.
And you just mentioned your bench. How heavily are you relying on them this season?
Well, your bench, they need to step up. I mean, you just can't play with 6, 7 people, due to injuries or sickness or people getting in foul trouble. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So as long as our bench continues to get stronger and stronger throughout the MAC play, it will definitely help us.
And Casey had her career game against Youngstown State. Can you talk a little bit more about her advancement?
Well, she's always looking to pass, and she's never looking for herself. And so what's happening now, what's happened over the last year is once she gets rid of the ball, teams aren't guarding her anymore, and she needs to be an offensive threat. She's capable of scoring. She does it in practice, and she just needs to do it more often in a game.
And then for Youngstown State, you guys struggled a little bit with rebounding. Are you doing anything to fix that?
Well, I mean, it's like free throws. I mean, we work on free throws every day. We work on rebounding every day in practice when we do drills. We shot the ball extremely well second half, so the opportunity in the second half of getting offensive rebounds wasn't as strong as maybe the first half. But, I was really disappointed with that. I thought at times Youngstown State did a much better job of outworking us and wanting the ball a lot more. It's not one of our strengths, but, we're still out-rebounding the opponents, and we just have to continue to get better with that every day.
With the victories over Rochester College and Youngstown State, the Zips have advanced to their 11th straight victory at home. When we come back, Coach and I will talk a little bit about scheduling.
Even the smallest Zip can be a part of the team by joining Zippy's Kids Club. It's the coolest club around for kids 12 and under. Zippy's Kids Club is presented by North Akron Savings Bank. For more information, visit gozips.com/Zippy's Kids Club.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Zips Women's Basketball with head coach Jodi Kest. I'm your host, Chrissy Perbonik. I'm joined with Coach Box, who's in charge of scheduling for Zips Women's Basketball. Coach, what's the process you guys use?
Well, basically we take a lot of things into consideration. There are a lot of variables that come into play in terms of what sort of teams we have returning from the previous year. We look at how many home games we have returning, and we also look at the overall experience of our team and how we compare to other teams that we may play in non-conference.
And like this year, you guys traveled to California. Do you have any big trips coming up in the future?
Actually, right now, we're scheduled to play in Denver, University of Denver next year, and we have a Florida road trip with Bethune-Cookman and Central Florida next year.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
What's something that you look for in your opponents?
Matchups. I think that's important. One thing that we want to do when we schedule is we want to prepare our kids the best we can to get them ready for conference.
Okay.
So we look at different things such as the style of plays that's played that the opposing teams may have. We also look at sometimes what's favorable, what's not favorable at certain times of the year. Certain matchups we may want to avoid at different times of the year. Some of that depends on who we played and again what we have returning. There's a lot of variables that come into play.
When do you usually start the scheduling process?
Way in advance.
Yeah.
Or actually, as soon as I'm finished with one, usually a year before, I'm working on the other one. We still have 2 dates that we want to fill that has to be filled a certain way. And we need to nail these dates down, but everybody's looking for the same thing, so we're just trying to get it done.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
When we come back, Coach Kest and I will preview the upcoming game.
Zips fans, register today for the new and improved Rewards program. Earn points and prizes for interacting with the Zips on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and more. Registration is free and easy, and you could win tons of great prizes. Visit zipsrewards.com today to begin collecting points.
Welcome back to Zips Women's Basketball with head coach Jodi Kest. I'm your host, Chrissy Perbonik. Coach, we finished non-conference play. What are your thoughts so far? Do you feel like you're measuring up to where you expected? Better, worse?
Well, I would think 6-5 for our kids, probably a disappointing start. I thought we played a very competitive schedule. We're over 500, so that's nice. We've won the last 2 games, so we have confidence. But, we thought our performance in California was very disappointing. Mm-hmm. But I think we learned a lot from those games that we lost and from the games that we won. And as long as you're learning something from it to prepare you for the conference play, I'm okay with that. But I thought we would probably have won, 7, 8, 9 games. But non-conference is over with now. And like we told our kids, everyone's record now is 0-0. Mm-hmm. And you play those non-conference games to get you ready for conference games, so that can help you prepare for the tournament and get you in the best, seated position. So I think our kids are ready for that. We have a very strong Ball State team coming in on Saturday. Coaching staff for them, they do a phenomenal job. They got great guards, great posts. They have more depth this year than they did last year. It's gonna be a great battle.
And so you just mentioned we're at 0-0. What's your evaluation of the MAC so far? Have you got a chance to look at the other teams?
Yeah, I have. Not as much, just because a lot of the teams that we played in non-conference are not playing in the MAC schools. But I think it's as strong as ever. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of teams that are playing extremely well on both the East and West. And it's always been that way. If you don't come prepared to play, no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing, if you're not ready, you're not going to win. And any team on any given night can beat anybody.
You open up MAC play at home, and then you finish on the road. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, everybody still has to play the same amount of games. You still have to play this year. 18 games this year? So it's a little bit different when you add those 2 games, and you have to play those teams, at some point. The first 3 games are going against, 3 of the top teams in the East and the West, and that will be a great barometer to find out where we're at right now.
And then again, your expectations against the 5 and 6 Ball State Cardinals.
Well, I'm throwing out that record. I don't really care that the record's 5 and 6. They've played a great non-conference schedule. They've had a couple injuries, just like a lot of other programs. But Brady does a great job. He's had a week to prepare for us, so I wouldn't be surprised if he throws in some new plays and new defensive schemes. But we've also had a week to prepare for them too. So I think it's going to be a great battle. I think you have 2 really good teams that are going to play really hard.
Looking forward to it. Zips Women's Basketball opens Mid-American Conference play Saturday, January 4th, as Ball State travels to James A. Rhodes Arena. Tip-off is set at 2 p.m. For ticket information, call 1-888-99-AKRON or visit zipstickets.com. Head coach Jodi Kest, I'm your host, Chrissy Perbonik. We'll see you guys next time.